This is the last and final thing that we're going to talk about this chapter before we take our test. So today we're talking about El Caribe. This looks a lot like the Spain culture section you read about earlier last week. But now we're going to talk about El Caribe. So far we've talked about Spain. We learned a bunch about Spain, and now we're learning about El Caribe. And El Caribe is, like it says down here, a chain of islands. So it's a chain of islands, and it includes Spanish-speaking countries like Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic. It goes all the way from the Bahamas down to Trinidad, which is down by South America. So it's a lot of countries, and it's actually in the Caribbean Sea, which is down below Florida. So you can read some of that. And then Christopher Columbus is actually said to be the first person that landed on the island of Hispaniola, which is the island of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Remember, they're on the same island. And that's where he initially landed in 1492. So he actually didn't land in the U.S. He landed down there in the Dominican Republic. And it is said that when Christopher Columbus died, that his body was there for a long time. Now they say his body is in Spain, but for a long time his body was supposedly there in the Dominican Republic. He came back the following year with 1,000 colonists and founded Isabela, as you can see here, the first European colony in America on the northern coast of Hispaniola. So this is up on the north of that island. Now, remember that we use the term discovered loosely because Christopher Columbus didn't exactly discover these places. He landed there. He came there from Europe. And remember, Christopher Columbus was born in Italy. He lived in Portugal and grew up in Portugal, and then he came to the U.S. from Spain. He came for Spain. He was an explorer, and Spain is the country that founded his journey. Queen Isabella, which is why the colony is called Isabella, and King Fernando, and they were the king and queen of Spain at that time. And then down here I ask you, did you know, ¿sabes qué? Most Cubans I should say, are descendants from people who came from the island, or to the island from Spain and Africa. And if you know anybody that's from Cuba or even the Dominican Republic or anything, you know that they're much darker than, say, Mexicans or like Central or South Americans are much darker, because they are known as mestizos, which are people that came from Africa. You can please read the rest through that. I don't want to read it, so you guys can read that. And then para pensar, it says African traditions have inspired reggae, calypso, salsa, merengue, and other musical styles in the Caribbean. And I'm sure that you've heard a lot of these kinds of musics, and we'll listen to some of those musics tomorrow. And those are all influenced from Africa, and were made popular in El Caribe, the Caribbean islands. You can see up here, there's a map right here of Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. It goes much further. Here's the islands of the Bahamas, and then it goes much further south. But Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico are the three Spanish-speaking countries in El Caribe. Here you can see La Universidad Autónoma de Santo Domingo, which is in Dominican Republic. It's the oldest university in the Americas. You can see that it was founded in 1538, 100 years before Harvard. So it's one of the most important, as you can see, it's one of the most important universities in the Caribbean, and actually a lot of people from the U.S. go down there to go to school. Then you can see here, this is an observatory in Puerto Rico, and it's a single dish radio telescope, which means it reads from the satellite in space. You can read the rest of that, and it discovered the first planets outside of our solar system. So that's pretty cool. We don't normally think of places like Puerto Rico as being a scientific, a scientific country, or a country that has a lot of scientists, but they were the first ones to discover planets outside of our solar system. And then this picture is a picture of a band probably in Cuba, definitely down in the Caribbean somewhere, and it's famous for their diverse musical styles. So this is just a band showing some of those musical styles, and you can see here it says that some groups even combine salsa, rumba, cha-cha-cha, and other Caribbean music styles with jazz, hip-hop, and rock and roll. So I'm sure that if you guys think right now about some people that you think you know of that are from those islands, why don't you come tomorrow with a list of people that you think came from those islands that maybe have some kind of musical influence either on your life or on popular culture. Remember, this is the last, I'm going to call it new thing that we're going to do, because the test is on Thursday. We're going to finish our Dia de los Muertos. I'm going to look at the web quest, and tomorrow we're going to do a review over the test.